Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to This is Sporta, the podcast about sports for sports by sports, possibly, maybe sports, movies, pop culture, other things. Who knows? Who cares, right? You're here, sit down, relax. I'm in the comfort of my own car, getting ready for another hockey game. Again, it's tough for me to do these things kind of in studio. Um, Working retail, Christmas time, hockey three days a week, kids, wife, work. So I'm fitting these in where I can. Hopefully, you can fit it in while you can too, whether it's watching on the YouTube StreamYard blog or listening on Amazon Music, Podbean, uh, Spotify, Pandora. We're kind of all over. Just check out This is Sporta, or even better yet, boom, right down there. That link tree link, put that in. It'll take you to all my links. Beard care product, Raise energy drinks discounts, plus all the links if you can like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that stuff. And we can, you can follow us. Again, this is a pre-record because I don't have the bandwidth to go live, so I don't want to like start a podcast live and then have issues. So I'm pre-recording this and hoping that it turns out well. Um, First of all, welcome to the end of the F1 season. The Formula One season comes to an end this week, and we will talk about this race coming up in Abu Dhabi. But let's talk about the Saudi Arabian GP, shall we? This race was insane. I said from the get-go, a closed circuit street track could cause problems, and it did. Man, where to start? Okay, so let's just start with obviously our podium. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas at the last second stole that third place from Esteban Ocon, who probably deserved it, but the Mercedes runs faster on that straight line track. Alpine had no chance. It's a shame because again, Ocon raced a good race, and it's a shame that his car wasn't a half second faster. Um, but let's start with this race. This race was insane. Um, I mean, the start of the race was crazy. Mercedes locked out the front row in terms of starting position. It was all Mercedes, and then lap 11, Mick Schumacher went into the wall, caused a crash. Virtual safety cars came out. Um, uh, you know, they on a virtual safety car, you're not allowed to pass. You're not allowed to go more than 40% of your speed. And so Lewis Hamilton was in first place and was kind of speeding up, and Valtteri Bottas was in second, and he was slowing down. And because there's no overtaking, Max Verstappen, who was in third, had to slow down, and it pissed him off. And so he was on his radio talking to his guys, hey, Valtteri has to keep up a certain speed. He's not doing it. What's going on? There was no penalty given. During the safety car, both Mercedes went in for a tire change. And this let Red Bull gamble because Max Verstappen went and took first because he didn't pit. And then on lap 12, a red flag came out. Red flag meaning the race stopped and halted because they had to repair the wall from Mick Schumacher. This was a free tire change for Max Verstappen because he was in first place. You go in, you get to restart the race as you're supposed to, and you can change tires. A lot of people are against this rule. I'm not personally, because everyone can benefit from it. It also allows cars that were wrecked, if they weren't wrecked too bad, they can repair their car and get out there and race again. But there were people that were upset. Lando Norris said it's the worst rule ever. Lewis Hamilton was pissed, which I don't understand. He's done this before. He's taken advantage of that rule before. Red Bull gambled, and it paid off, and they got fresh tires without taking a pit stop. and it counts as his pit. You have to take at least one pit, and that counted as his pit stop. He changed his tires, and so the race was restarted on lap 15, and Hamilton overtook Max Verstappen, kind of pushed him wide, and it seemed like, okay, like this is gonna be a dirty race. They're kind of pushing each other. Well, there was another wreck with George Russell and someone else. I want to say Mazepan was involved with it. So it was a red flag too. So it stopped again. Man, it was insane. So on lap 17, on the restart of that red flag, Max took the lead with Hamilton, Esteban Ocon, and Max kind of driving. Max kind of went into the left, ended up taking the lead, and the race kind of panned out kind of as it was. Lewis kind of lost his composure. In lap 37, Max drove Lewis wide. He was about to get past. He drove Lewis wide, came on the track, went off, came in. He was told to give the spot back and later on in the race. And so he slowed down. He slowed down his car. Apparently, this message wasn't relayed to Lewis Hamilton. So Lewis Hamilton said it was a brake check. And I get what Verstappen was doing. He was slowing down before DRS zone and didn't go all the way over. And as a driver, you're supposed to cede. It's etiquette. You go all the way over, let the driver pass that you're allowing to pass. But he kind of went in the middle of the track, and there was still enough space for Lewis to get by. And you think a 7-time world champion could get through that gap, but no, he hits Verstappen. And I don't get this. I've replayed it in my head and I've watched it, and I don't understand, because Max Verstappen, when all said and was done, was given a 15-second penalty throughout the entirety of the race, despite giving his position back to Hamilton, despite everything. It felt like the FIA and the stewards were against Verstappen in this race, and it's almost like they wanted Mercedes to win this race. It was such a crazy race. It was a longer race than normal due to the red flags, but I'm sorry. Like, I love Lewis Hamilton, but you're a 7-time world champion. You have 102 victories, 103 now. Max gave you enough space to pass on the left. You didn't. You go into him, and then you're like, oh, he brake tested me, man. Like, he brake checked me. What the fuck is up? Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, no, there was plenty of room for you to get by. And I understand what Max was doing. He wanted to get right back over, have the DRS kick in so he can go on the straight and pass Lewis again. I get it. I get it. This race was insane. And because this race was insane, we now sit right here in terms of standings. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton even on points. Max Verstappen is in first because of his wins and podium finishes. It all comes down to this last race at the Yas Marina circuit. Yas Marina is in Abu Dhabi. It is a fast track. In fact, it used to be, I think, a 20 to 21 turn track, and they've changed the circuit this year to where it's a 16 turn track, making it faster, giving Mercedes the edge. Again, I feel like F1 wants Mercedes to win. I think Mercedes has the constructors in hand. We've talked about that before. They're 28 points down now, the constructors championship. So they would essentially need a do not finish for Mercedes, and then a low points for Mercedes, and then, first place and probably third for Checo. Like, I think the constructors is out of reach. But the drivers championship is up for grabs, and this is the track. This is what we're looking at right here. There's 16 turns instead of, I think, like I said, I think there were 20 to 21 before. But look at this straight line right here, right? I hate doing this on my phone. There's a straight line right there. All that blue is straight line speed for Mercedes, except that turn 6 to 7, right? Like, this track is faster. It's made for Mercedes. And I mean, barring something big, I don't know if Red Bull can win. I believe Max can take first place. I have faith in his driving ability. I believe he's a better driver. He is super aggressive. He is he he's a different breed of driver. He's a throwback driver. He wants to win. He'll win at all costs. He'll push you outside. He's aggressive, and I love that about him. And Lewis Hamilton used to be that way. And Lewis Hamilton, as I said before, is one of my favorite drivers. In fact, I think he's one of the greatest drivers of all time. But something has changed in Lewis, and he's not that aggressive driver anymore. And there's times you think he's aggressive, but he's just being a dick. Silverstone, Baku, you know what I mean? Like there's dirty play in his game now, and that wasn't really him. He was just aggressive, and that's how I see Max. Max is just aggressive, and I think he's being punished because they want him to be safer, right? But this track is going to be a very good race. 2020, Verstappen won. So he broke a 6-year Mercedes win streak at this track, and he can do it again. But he's going to need help, and he's going to have to play dirty without being dirty. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to say that, but he's going to have to be aggressive, but he's going to have to be smart with this race, because for some reason FIA is in the pocket of Mercedes. Mercedes, that they don't get punished the way they should. They don't get penalized the way they should. And it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. You know, I love Lewis. I love the Mercedes car. I believe it's the fastest car. I believe it's probably the best car. And it's just, they're given so much leeway with what they do. It's not fair. So the penalties that Max is getting, the penalties that other drivers get, and we're not seeing Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas get these same penalties, whether it's slowing down the field or causing an accident or running double yellows. It's not consistent. And Abu Dhabi is a fantastic track. You saw the track; it's great for speed. But we've seen the arguments now with Red Bull and Mercedes, and they're going back and forth, and it's almost like teachers and kids tattling, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes has pissed off Red Bull so much that Red Bull goes to Checo and the guys at AlphaTauri and says, hey guys, if Hamilton even gets close to you, take him out. Cause him to wreck. Nothing dangerous, spin him out, let him lose position. If his car's wrecked, fantastic. If I'm Christian Horner, and I know that if there's any possibility that Lewis has a chance for first place with the help of the FIA, that's what I'm doing. I would let Max stay away from the whole situation. Yuki Tsunoda's a young driver. He can probably get away with something like that. Like, more than likely, he'll get lapped, right, by Hamilton. So what I'm thinking is Yuki Tsunoda pulls off to the left or the right, let Hamilton go by, and just as he's almost clear, go into him and just say, hey, man, sorry, I thought you passed faster. I hit you as I came through. My bad. Take my points. Give me the deduction on my license points, stuff like that. I think you can get away with that. But I know if I was a race director, that would piss me off with what Mercedes is doing, what the FIA is doing. So yes, I wouldn't give Hamilton a chance to win this race. I wouldn't give Hamilton a chance to steal first place and steal my championship, because if Hamilton had been properly punished for his other races this year, he wouldn't be in the position he's in. If Max wasn't forced out of the race, I want to say it was Baku, but he'd have the title clinched. You know what I mean? Like Silverstone, he'd have the title clinched. I feel like they're trying to give Lewis his 8th title. And Lewis is a good driver, and he's earned the spot he's in, but no one earns the right to be above everybody else in terms of the calls they get. And I've said that with Tom Brady in the NFL. I said that with, Clayton Kershaw in Major League Baseball, where he's getting calls that are strikes but look like they're balls. That could just be bad umpiring. LeBron James, Giannis, James Harden, these guys that get called in the NBA, they're above everybody else, and so they get the calls. And I don't think that's the way it should be in any sport, including F1. And I feel like Hamilton should be punished accordingly. But yes, the Abu Dhabi race, I believe it starts at 5 in the morning on Sunday. I believe it's on ESPN. If you get a chance to check it out, if you're up early enough, check it out. It is the finale of the season. And we could see some fireworks. We could see some big fireworks in this race. And like I said, if I'm Red Bull, I go to AlphaTauri and I go to Checo and say, hey man, if Hamilton gets the chance to go by you, put him into a wall, spin him out, damage his wing, something. Don't even give him a chance to win. Don't. Because if he's there at the end, the FIA will do something to where he does. Max will get a penalty for some stupid reason. Max will win the race, get a 5-second penalty, and drop to second, and Lewis will take first. Like that's how I feel about the FIA right now. It's not fair, and this championship shouldn't be tarnished by them or the stewards or Michael Massey, who's a fucking joke. I'm sorry, Michael Massey, you're a fucking joke. If you don't know who he is, look him up. I'm not going to get into him. He's a fucking joke. But yeah, Sunday's race, qualifying tomorrow, practice tomorrow, free practice tomorrow, qualifying on Saturday, race on Sunday. We will crown the championship on Sunday. Should already be Max Verstappen. I hope it is. I hope Max gets it. He deserves it. And I hope we have a good race. So yeah, Sunday, 5 a.m. I believe it's on ESPN. Check it out. Wow, talk about winning. Last week in the NFL on my picks, 6-0. You don't believe me? Check out my last week's podcast. Straight up, I took the Rams over the Jacksonville Jags, the Cardinals over Chicago, and the Colts versus the Texans. All 3 won outright. Against the spread, I had Seattle plus 3.5 against the Niners. They covered. They won outright, 30-23. I called that one. I said they would win outright. The Chargers plus 3 against Cincinnati. Chargers almost doubled them up, 41-22. And the Eagles minus 5.5 against the Jets. They won 33-18. That 6-0 weekend brings me to 34-19 on the year, and I feel so good. This week, I wasn't high on a lot of the games. I'm going to be honest with you. This week was hard, but I made my picks. Straight up, I'm taking Baltimore over Cleveland. Baltimore over Cleveland. I'm taking Seattle over the Texans, and I'm taking the Packers over the Bears. Those are straight up, not with the points. Against the spread is where I had issues. There weren't a lot that I really liked here. I'm going to take Washington at plus 4.5 against Dallas. So I think Dallas will win, but it is a division game. I believe Dallas wins by 3 points. Washington will take the points there. So I will take 4.5. The Chargers against the Giants. I took the Chargers at minus 10. So they have to win by a touchdown and a field goal just to cover, just to push. I believe they'll win by 2 touchdowns. I am worried about a backdoor cover here, but I will take the Chargers minus 10. And I have the Lions plus 10 at the Broncos. Detroit, other than that Eagles game, haven't really been blown out. They've kept their games close. And the Broncos, to me, I just don't see how they're a 10-point favorite. Seven, I would get 7.5, but a full 10, I think, is a little much. And I think the Lions cover. There's a good chance the Lions could win. They may take that momentum from last week, right? But yeah, so straight up, Ravens, Seahawks, Packers against the spread. Redskins, yes, I said Redskins. Chargers, Lions against the spread. I have it written down in my notes. So I will come back to that hopefully this week and hopefully do another 6-0 run. Watch this week, I'm gonna be like 0-6. Big games this week. Big games. Arizona Cardinals versus the Rams in Arizona. Arizona won the first meeting in LA and they are up 2 games. So the Rams need this game to pull within 1 game and to pull even on the head-to-head. I am a Rams fan. This game is going to be tough. I don't know. I don't know who to call there. Arizona's playing phenomenally. Kyler Murray is the most accurate quarterback in the NFL right now. The Rams, losing Robert Woods really hurts. Losing Cam Akers at the beginning of the season really hurts. We're staying alive, but we are an injury away from being out of the playoffs. We just don't have that depth. So, again, the Rams need the win to cut into that 2-game lead. Arizona needs the win to, not just solidify the division, but to gain on that first seed. And speaking of the first seed, we have the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago as the other big game. Green Bay needs to win to keep pace with the Cardinals. They are a game behind right now for that number 1 seed, and that number 1 seed is big because the way the playoffs are set now, only the 1 seed gets the bye week, and Aaron Rodgers could use that week off. And it is a division game. It is going to be tough, but I do think the Packers pull it out. The Chiefs versus the Raiders. It's a division game. KC's up by 1 game against the Chargers. But I do think the Chargers actually have the game in hand because I believe they did beat KC early in the year. But yeah, that's a big game for KC. It's a big game for the Chargers. And it's a big game for the Raiders if they want to keep pace for wild card. Dallas versus Washington. Dallas is up 2 games in the division right now, so they need this win to kind of solidify their spot. I believe they can. So we'll see. Let's see what we got. NHL, nothing really to note. The Yotes had $250,000 in unpaid taxes and were threatened to be locked out of their arena. This comes on the heels of them saying, Glendale's not going to be their home much longer, etc. They're looking at Tempe and all these other places. They did pay those $250,000 in taxes, so they will be able to play their games at the Gila River Arena. We are about 23 to 28 games in right now for some of these teams, and the cream of the crop is rising. So we're seeing like teams that started off hot, the Buffaloes, and all these guys, they're kind of falling back into where they should be. And we're seeing Florida, Tampa Bay, Vegas now getting healthy. The 2 surprises I do have are in the West is the Anaheim Ducks are playing really well, and they're playing really good right now. And it just sucks because they just sent, I think, Adam Henrique to IR. And the Calgary Flames hold first place right now, and they just lost to Vegas a couple nights ago. But their goaltender Markstrom's playing phenomenal. It's great to see Canadian hockey alive and well, not just in Edmonton or Toronto. So the the Flames are doing really well. They're in first place currently in the West. Vegas is on the rise. Like I said, getting healthy. Pulled out a big win against Dallas yesterday. Beat Calgary a couple days before. Expecting their full roster back soon. Jack Eichel, hopefully, we saw him on the ice. Obviously, not practice, but he's skating. He's moving. We could see Eichel hopefully by March or April if everything goes well. And that will be huge for Vegas going into the playoffs. MLS, Portland versus New York City FC in the finals. Again, my MLS bracket was busted first weekend. I do believe Portland's going to win. I want NYCFC to win, but I believe Portland's going to win. It's in Portland. That atmosphere for soccer is amazing. That game is on Saturday at 12 noon. In the EPL, we have City, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, top four. Liverpool, a point behind, Chelsea 2, West Ham 8. Manchester United are sitting sixth place right now. They're 3 points off of fourth and 11 off the top. Not impossible to overcome, but they need to work their way slowly into fourth place. Winnable games this weekend for all top 5 teams. One to watch is going to be Liverpool versus Aston Villa, not because Villa is good, but because Steven Gerrard returns to Liverpool as manager of Aston Villa, and he had a 15-year, I believe it was 15-year Liverpool career where he was phenomenal. Never won the Premier League, poor guy, but had Champions Leagues, FA Cups, all that stuff. He spent a year and a half with Glasgow Rangers, won them Scottish Premier League title. But yeah, was hired by Villa and returns to Anfield this weekend. A lot of people think he's the successor to Jurgen Klopp once Jurgen steps away from Liverpool, whenever that is. I've never been big on hiring former players who, quote unquote, know the system. I believe you have to go for the best man for the job. That's why, like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I never thought he was the guy for Manchester United. I was like, cool, give him a chance. He started off 4-0 and then went down the shitter from there. And then Gerrard, we don't know how he's going to be in the Premier League, and he's going to have Villa, who's not a great club, so it may not show his ability as a manager. You know what I mean? So we can't hold him to that. But big games this weekend, big racing in F1. Again, 5 in the morning, ESPN on Sunday, F1 racing. Check it out. It should be exciting. Man, it's going to be great. It's tough because then I won't have racing again until like March. And now is about the time that I start paying attention to basketball. It's about Christmas when basketball really starts coming into play for me. MLB still locked out, everything. So we will hopefully be back soon. And hopefully we will have a Red Bull champion in Max Verstappen. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that link down there, put that in. That's going to give you all my links to the Beard Struggle, Raise, Energy, discount codes. So you guys can get discounts on all that good stuff. My links to Amazon Music, the YouTube, everything for this. Like, subscribe, hit that notification so you know when we're going live. Eventually I will go live again. So hopefully soon, once the holiday season ends and I actually have more time. Until then, guys, I love you. Be excellent to each other. And remember, guys, this is